Hello, viewers. Welcome to the Positive Alteration School. Well, long story short, the essence of this podcast is to get us to see the importance of communication, public speaking, and how that can tie to what we do, either at our places of work, our businesses, our family. And we started this on the premise of getting people to see that you don't have to be a superstar for you to be able to communicate effectively and to bring about change in your community. So we went on to start getting people in various walks of life who can come on board and share their experiences and how communication, speaking in public, has helped them to grow their cause, and in some way, how they are progressing in developing themselves. Today, I am super excited. I've got a friend and a brother that's joined me today. He's got a lot on his plate and he is a community-minded person. He has his own movement, which is focused on moving forward. He's going to talk a lot about that in a jiffy. And he is focused on mental health, making sure that people are happy, they make the best use of what they have around them, and they stay happy, they do not sink into the deep end of depression. And that is a big subject today. So my friends, I have today with me my brother and friend, Peter Igbinosa, aka Piro. Guy Alpha.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Starling. Thank you so much for having me. That was an excellent introduction. Thank you for allowing me to be in this platform. I'm so grateful to be here. There's so much to talk about your movement, and I'm seeing all the things that you're doing. And thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much. So, Piro, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about your story. I mean, what's been happening?
Thank you. Oh, my story is there's a lot that's been happening. Basically on a personal level, I'm a father, to three children, and just to kind of come close to the question more directly, what's been happening in my life? I'm originally from Nigeria. I came to the UK about 24 years ago, and it has been a roller coaster. It has been very, very interesting, and I started my journey as a person in terms of personal development based on things that have happened to me in my past, people that have added value to my life. And to be more specific, when I was about 17 years old, I left my home in Nigeria with a friend, and we embarked on this journey of wanting to travel, to have a better life, to wanting to move forward in life. And I can never forget one specific evening like this where I was in Lagos. I was homeless. I was on the street. I was destitute, and I fell asleep in the beach. And when I was sleeping in the beach that night, at about 3 a.m., I can remember a guy waking me up when I was sleeping, and he said to me, "This is where I normally sleep." And I looked at this guy. This guy was about 6 or 7 foot tall, and and I was like, okay, let me move. And before I could know it, the guy picked me up and slammed me against the ground. And I thought that was the day I was going to die. And I looked up, I said, if I was going to fight with this guy, this might just probably be the last time I ever existed. So that was a moment of my life that I kind of like thought, okay, this is God has given me another chance. And I managed to get myself together in Lagos there, and then came to the United Kingdom. I came to the United Kingdom. I went to uni in Scotland. I met my wife, and I have three kids. And somewhere along the line, just after the pandemic, this is me telling you a brief story about how I came to where we are now. Just
Yes.
after pandemic, a lot of people were going through a really difficult time,
True.
depression, anxiety, stress, and I was part of that. I was stressed, I was depressed, I was lonely, I was isolated, and I was thinking, what is the way out of this mentally, how I was feeling? And then I started creating content. because most people were at home. I started creating content about motivation. I started reading books. I started looking at website that can encourage people to discover their better version. And during the process of that personal development about mental well-being, I went to uni to go and study human psychology and
Okay.
started reading more about things like this. And then I started releasing my content. My friends and my family started kind of encouraging me and saying the content I was sharing was of value. And that is how I started. Obviously,
Mm.
started coming to Toastmaster. I met a lot of people in Toastmaster, as now the president of the Toastmaster has been.
Wait, slow down. You shouldn't have given that away. Come on.
Oh, come on. But
Okay, so
obviously,
we'll
it
get
is
to
part
your
of my.
journey. We will get
Yeah,
to your journey into public
yeah,
speaking. But the fascinating thing about public speaking, I mean, not public speaking, the fascinating thing about Lagos, because you mentioned Lagos,
yeah,
was from your story,
yeah.
you're saying you walked into another man's bedroom under the bridge and slept.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
owner of the bedroom, as it were, came and slammed you.
yes, yeah. That was exactly what happened because that was, I did not know that that's where he normally sleeps, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he woke me up and said, "This is where he normally sleeps. That's his regular place." I was destitute on the street, and he woke me up that night and told me to leave. When you're in the middle of sleep and somebody's waking you up, you're kind of thinking, "What's going on?" And he
Yes.
picked me up and slammed me against the ground.
I
And I
can
was
I
like,
can relate. I can relate. I can relate. Let me tell you a brief story.
yeah,
When I first got to Lagos, well, when I got to Lagos, that's a story for another day. But it was a challenging situation because I got a job, and at the point in time, I was traveling to Lagos. I was traveling for an interview, not like I'd gotten the job, and
mm,
I had a total of 2,500 naira on me.
yeah,
I was going to Lagos and I didn't know if I was going to get a job or not, but I needed to move. I remember getting to CMS because I was
yeah.
going to the island. I
I know
remember
where you
getting
are.
to CMS, and
Yes.
then it dawned on me. A friend of mine called me and said, Guy, where you did now? And I said, Guy, I did Lagos. I said, which Lagos? Because I didn't tell anybody. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. So I got to Lagos and I'd taken a bet because I'd spoken to the chairman of the company that I was going to attend the interview. And I said, give me a chance, 10 minutes to speak with your GM. And
Mm,
if it's not okay, I'll take it that that's my, it didn't work out. And
yeah.
he said to me, young man, you're very brave. I would really forever be grateful to him. Well, I'm going, that, like I said, it's another
Yeah.
story.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sometimes things happen in your life and we fail to realize the people that have played a role in our lives. This man was Chief Okoye. For
Okay.
some reason, he said, come over. So I went over, I saw the GM, we did the interview and all of that. It was good. But this is where my story is going. I was living in VGC at the
Mm,
time, and they were walking on the Ozumba Mbadiwe Road. So it
yeah.
was gridlocked.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up in the morning as early as 4:15, 5 o'clock, so that you can beat the early
Yeah.
morning traffic, or you
Traffic.
are
Yes.
sure of getting to work by 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And then by the time you're coming back, it's like 12, 12:30, man. So you've got like 4 hours in between to
Mm,
sleep. So I picked up the phone after the first 10 days and I called my dad and I said, Dad, I'm coming back. I don't think I can stay in Lagos. And he said, why? I said, Lagos is fast. Everything is tight. It is so stretching. So I remember vividly my dad telling me, well, there is no place for you here any longer. If people are sleeping under the
interesting.
bridge in Lagos, sleep
Yeah.
with them. If whatever people are doing to survive, survive.
Right.
And I'll tell you, as a matter of firmness and tenacity,
Mm,
that phone call changed my life.
yeah.
If my dad had said, oh, if it's not working, come back home,
Yeah.
I guarantee I would have gone back home. But
Yes.
knowing who my father was, I'd left where I was living, told my brothers to go get my things over to our family house.
The house.
So it was
Yeah.
as if I was going back to the family house. My father said, look, if you got nowhere to come back to, if people
Mm,
are surviving in Lagos, stay there. And I'm grateful that he didn't ask me to come back.
Come back.
So I relate when you talk about Lagos and the toughness. Lagos has a way of building you. It has a way of stretching you. It has a way of carving that better part of you out of you. If you know how to harness the opportunities therein. The same way I grew in Lagos and did quite a lot of things before I left. So I really, really relate with that.
Thank you.
Under the bridge story.
Thank you. Yes, it's part of my life that I will never forget. And you know, just to add on to that is what has led me here today. Just like you, people that have added value to my life and given me the opportunity to be here.
Thank you. Now, Piro, I want to ask you, when you look back, you are now, in fact, we should do a story from under the bridge, from destitute to community leader, because now you're leading a community of people. You hold games, you get people together to play football. I mean, people should check it. I mean, folks, you should check this man out. He is getting people together, children, older people, people middle age. So we've gone from destitute under the bridge to someone people look forward to. That is huge, I tell you. So I want to ask you, when you look back, at what specific moment would you say in this move that you say public speaking, the ability to communicate has really played a vital role to your success thus far?
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, it has played a vital role. The moment I remembered, even prior to pandemic and you know, going through that depression, you know, just to go back a little bit, was when I was at the university. I had a project that we wanted to submit, and I was, you know, they put it kind of like in a group for a group presentation. So when it came to my turn wanting to present, you know, I delivered the presentation really, really well. And the feedback that I got from the lecturer was excellent presentation, my tenacity, my enthusiasm and everything, you know. And that was when I kind of start identifying that, okay, I might probably just have the gift of wanting, of being able to speak to people, you know, and be able to encourage them and deliver my message. But coming back to, you know, after pandemic, when I now understand that, okay, yes, bringing people together and having the courage and the confidence to help people. There was one specific thing that transformed my life sitting down in my living room here was I have always have this urge, this determination of wanting to serve, of wanting to give back to the community, of wanting to impact people. And I never knew how I was going to do it.
Okay.
I didn't know how I was going to do it until I sat there in the living room here and I said to my oldest daughter, Grace, I said, I want to help people. And this moment I'm sharing with you, sometimes I go to bed and I cry and I get so emotional and I think, how can I help? And I said to my daughter, I want to help people. And she said, and I said, I want to give it the name Move Forward Movement.
Benny.
I said, I want to give it Move Forward Movement. And she said to me, Dad, yeah, that sounds really good. And that was how it started. I executed my first project about 5 minutes away from my house here. You know, I volunteered my own money to bring people together, got a bouncy castle. It was a family fun fair with my own money just to bring the community together, you know, for social cohesion, for ethnic minority people, to have a place whereby they can have a safe space to be able to communicate and speak. Public speaking has helped me in terms of just not only on one-on-one to tell people that if you just try, if you just give yourself a chance and really, really think deep about things that you are going on, you'll be surprised the amount of skills and the capability that you have within you that that you can unleash. And having that, you know, knowledge and that confidence in myself in public speaking has helped me to be able to engage with people on a one-on-one, being able to go on job interviews and execute my job interview and be able to be successful in that job interview. And also ultimately being able to bring people together and tell them about the things that my organization Move Forward Movement do in terms of mental health, and also just encouraging people positively to improve their life on the mental well-being and on the physical side of things as well.
Great stuff. Great stuff. So if you're out there, it's MFM all the way. Move
Move
forward
forward
movement.
movement. Yes, thank
I
you.
love it. I love it. Really, move forward movement. No complications.
Thank you.
It reminds me of what this statement where I'd learned that a couple of years ago, which is when you feel like giving up, just take one more step. No, don't take two, just one more. When you feel like giving up, just move forward. Movement. It's just movement. It's like what we used to say back in Nigeria, say, guy, now movement,
La
move,
movement. So
movement. Just
yes,
as long as you're moving, you
yes,
become a harder target, because if you're sitting, you're an easier target to
absolutely.
depression. I was listening to a member of the John Maxwell leadership team a couple of days ago, and he mentioned something, it was a podcast, and he said something about the deep. I was thinking deep, you know, when they say when you get into the deep, those deep ends, those points of depression and all of that. And then he defined it that deep in this case, it's like it's an acronym, meaning dark. Oh, no, he said dark. I've forgotten what the I is, but dark I places, dark. Oh man, I can't believe I forgot that. But it's more about staying in a place that is dark and it is dangerous. So the deep is about, I can't believe I forgot this, man.
So right.
But the deep, whenever we talk about the deep, for me, it redefined the meaning of that word, DIP. So when you're in a deep place, it's like you are in a dark, isolated. That's the word.
Yeah.
You know, when you feel depressed, you want to stay in an isolated place. Dark, deep. It means dark, isolated places. It could be desperate, isolated places. Choose, but it's never a good place, a good thing to be there. You know, there are some myths and misconceptions when it comes to public speaking. In my life, talking to people on different platforms and different places, sometimes the vibe you get is public speaking is for a class of people. It's for a certain level of people, or it is for extroverts. It's for people. I know, Piro, I've seen you talk. I know you've got the energy. But the message I try to get people out there to see is it's not just for extrovert. There are excellent introverted speakers, but they just understand that public speaking or communication is an art that has some science behind it, some principles and guidance. So I want to ask you, has there been any time when you have been faced with thinking some form of drawing you back, thinking you're not good enough to do this, doubting yourself? Have you ever been in that space?
Oh yes, definitely. I think everybody have an imposter syndrome.
Peter, I need you to go back a little bit so that the camera won't cut off your head, so that our viewers will see you.
Can you hear me?
Beautiful.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah. So I believe that everybody have imposter syndromes. You know, there are moments, where for me, when you want to go and have a speech, you want to create a content, and you'll be thinking, wow, am I going to be able to deliver this? Or you want to have a keynote, you start sweating in your palm, you start having that adrenaline, and be thinking, how am I going to be able to deliver this? What are the audience going to think? Is this going to be good enough? But that is what, when you go through that process, just as you said earlier on, just pushing forward a little bit, that is what propels you in terms of being able to deliver and move forward. You know, when you have a moment whereby, okay, how am I going to be able to deliver this? Is this going to be good enough? That is an imposter syndrome. That is the part of your mind that is testing your capability in what you are trying to do. But how do you overcome that? For me personally, the way I overcome that is to reassure myself mentally that I am good enough and there is somebody out there that want to hear what I have to say. And if I don't deliver, I am letting that person down. And my message could change somebody else's life by just
Powerful.
by just saying that.
Powerful.
So
Powerful.
that is what motivates me to always want to move forward, even when it's, when I'm feeling that I'm not good enough. There's somebody else wants to hear what you have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and to go to the speaking part in terms of what you were talking about introvert and extrovert, as you said, public speaking is an art and a science behind it. And I believe that, you know, an introvert and extrovert can always be a public speaker, can always deliver in whatever way that they want to deliver. The key point is this: the willingness to wanting to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation
True.
long enough to become comfortable. And that is the reason why we encourage people to always go to Toastmaster, to find a space whereby they can practice their public speaking, even though as an introvert. So it is very, very important uh, um, for people to put themselves in that space of wanting to learn and wanting to, start small and begin to develop their public speaking. Being an introvert, being an extrovert like myself, I am still learning the craft and developing myself every single day in wanting to improve on how I can speak. There are some people when you tell them, what do? You tell them, I'm a professional speaker. A lot of people, some people haven't got that concept yet that you can be a professional speaker and get paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just getting into that limelight now for me and being able to kind of like, start creating within my own community that exposure that there are people that have those gifts to
Yeah.
be a speaker. So that's just basically to answer your question in those two
Makes
scenarios.
sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. I want to glean a couple of things from what you just said, Peter.
Yeah.
You said something that when you feel like you are, I'm not saying it exactly the way you said it, but I'm
Yeah.
just going to bring the implication I understand. When
Mm,
you feel like I don't want to talk
mm,
because I'm an introvert, you
yes.
should remember that your message is meant for somebody.
Yes.
Somebody out there will benefit from your message. If only you would decide to speak up. So if you decide not to speak up for fear of whatever, you
Yes.
deprive the person from that information that would have changed the person's life. Correct? That's
Absolutely.
what you're trying to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Because there's somebody out there that want to hear what you have to say.
Good.
Regardless of, there's somebody in the world
Yes.
based on technology, somebody in the world that your information will be of value to if
Mm-hmm.
you just get the confidence to just say it out there and share your message.
True. To boost this, I want to see if I can bring this up. A couple of days ago, somebody sent me this message
Yes.
on LinkedIn. He
Mm,
said, "Hi, Stallone. It's great having you here.
yeah.
You're one of the first coaches to introduce me to CBD Network.
Okay.
It's a business I used to do some time ago." But he said
Yes.
I introduced him in 2019. That is
Mm,
approximately 5 years ago. I
yes.
appreciate the efforts and consistency you put into to engage me in the business and to provide me with the mentorship needed to succeed.
Yes.
Although I couldn't follow through with the business, I am currently into real estate and property development, and my company is one of the top award-winning real estate companies in Accra, Ghana.
Wow.
And the experience was great. The experiences I gathered from you and the things I learned from you, the trainings, the mentorship, the guidelines, and the messages, they are all in my emails and they shape my thinking and my thoughts. What I'm trying to say is I can guarantee you, and I can't, because when you speak on different platforms and you meet different people, sometimes you're not sure, you can't keep track of all the people, right? But this
Absolutely.
guy here,
Yes.
Sabs,
Yes.
I just give that name, Sabs. This is a message. When I read this message a couple of days ago, when I logged into LinkedIn, my heart melted. This is 5 years ago. He's telling you that the nuggets that he shared, that I shared with him 5 years ago, they have shaped him. They're still there. The emails, maybe the voice notes, or maybe the videos and all of that, they're still there. Every message is meant for someone.
Absolutely.
That is why the message carrier needs to take the process, needs to take that assignment of carrying the message seriously.
Yes.
You understand? That's what I got from what you said.
Absolutely. It's so important, you know, just to add on to what you just said just now. This is somebody that you imparted your life 5 years ago. Because you had the willingness to, you know, put the message out there. And it's 5 years later, it's coming back to you how your message has impacted his life on a positive level for him to move forward. Is not for him to grow a company. So that is the reason why public speaking is so important, to encourage people, the mentorship, the information. You know, I also have something similar to you. I had a friend, you know, obviously I do, you know, do content on, you know, fitness, you know, positive motivation. A friend came to see me a few weeks ago, and he has lost so much weight and is looking healthy. And when I saw him, I said, bro, you're looking good. And he looked at me and said, Peter, you inspire me. He said, you inspire me. And that reinforced the encouragement, like we're talking about, putting the word out there, you know, inspiring people, being an example. That encouraged me to continue to share my content, to continue to motivate people. So the same thing with public speaking. You know, whatever information, whatever message that you have, if you're not sharing it and not, you know, speaking out there, you are a disservice to somebody else that need your service, that needs to hear your message. That is the reason why public speaking and encouraging and motivating people on a positive level is so, so important.
Yes. And the beautiful thing about public speaking is it's like music. You create music, you create an album, but you never can tell which track on the album is going to be a hit song.
Absolutely.
All right. Because the fans determine. So that's how when you speak in public, you put in your energy to pass the message across. What part of the message is going to hit who and change whose life, you do not know.
You do not know.
You're just a messenger.
Yes, yes, yes. That's a good analogy. Absolutely. That is the reason why it's so important to continue to, you know, share the message on a regular basis and encourage people to be part of this community of being a public speaker.
Absolutely. Now, Piro, one of the biggest challenges people have, that stops them from going out to speak in public, is the fear of making mistakes. So I want to ask you, Piro, has there ever been a time when you're communicating in public, maybe on stage or you're talking to your community, and boom, you slip, something happened? How did you deal with it?
Wow. Yes, that has happened, you know, once or twice in my public speaking. I remember there was a time I was in the Toastmaster. I was, you know, as I was delivering a speech, and the speech was how beautiful this lady was. You know, I was talking about how amazing this lady was. And what eventually happened is, you know, the lady's name was Jane. I end up calling her a couple of times Stella. You know, I called the lady's name Stella.
I'm going to ask you who Stella is.
Oh, Stella.
Don't worry, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. Stella is a definition of a word of a woman that is amazing.
Okay.
You know? Yeah, Stella is another word for beautiful, amazing, That is the definition of stellar. But when during the presentation of having my story about Jane, I called Jane Stella a couple of times, and I end up laughing. Some of the audience did not some of the audience gets that there was an error, there was a mistake there. What did I do? How did I recover? I paused and I laughed and continue my story, and recover very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So things like that as a public speaker happen. But what is important is this: how do you recover? How do you use that moment of mistake and convert it as a humorous moment, as a fun moment?
True.
And then bounce back and continue your story.
Correct.
So that is a moment that has happened to me. And there are some times when you are delivering your public speaking and only you will know that things did not go the way you wanted it to go. But you have to then go with the flow for that particular moment. The key thing is learn from it so that it doesn't happen again. So there are moments that has happened whereby things did not go the way I wanted it to go, like the example that I just gave to you in the public speaking. And there are other ones in terms of the technical aspect when you are doing the presentation and the slide is not working properly the way it's meant to work, and then you have to kind of like, okay, try and put things together to make sure that things work in order for you to serve your audience, because you are there to serve the people you want to serve.
Let me ask you, Peter. Thank you for that experience. I believe that probably the word of the day was Stella. So
Stella, yes.
You were mixing the name of the person in your story and the word
yes, so Stella.
It happened. Let me ask you, so that we don't. It's not about recovering and to being a champion and all of that.
Yeah.
Have you ever delivered a speech?
Yes.
It didn't go well, and you felt bad.
Wow.
I give you an example. I have delivered countless. I have lost count of the number of speeches I've delivered.
Yes.
So there was a day I attended a meeting, and there was an impromptu speaking session.
Yes.
So, and I was to speak for 2 minutes. I said, 2 minutes, that's nothing. So I was given a topic. I got there, and I was a bit lackadaisical about it, I must confess. I had somebody was supposed to evaluate me, Pradeep. I respect him so much. One of the mentors I've had in the course of my growth as a public speaker, because he's very straight, blunt in evaluating you.
Yeah.
And Pradeep said, Stallone is an experienced speaker. I can't say the exact words, but he said the implication, Stallone is an experienced speaker. I was shocked when Stallone said, is it not 2 minutes yet? Because I was talking and I was waiting for the time to just slip through. And you know the way it is. When you have a lot to talk about, there is no much, you don't have much time. But when you don't have a lot to talk about, then 2 minutes become, the 2 minutes would eventually become 20 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. I left the platform. I managed to ramble and then waste the time and got off stage. When I sat down and he evaluated my speech, he said I was experienced, but that it appears I didn't take the speech seriously. I never forget that. Well, people will want to make you feel comfortable, but I take feedback a lot more seriously. From that day onward, I told myself, whether it's a minute speech, 2 minute speech, it is a moment that people are giving to you to listen to you. It's a moment in their life they will never get back.
Yes.
So whenever I want to get back to that, anytime I want to deliver a speech, I remember this experience and I say, take this seriously, put in the effort, do the practice, do your research, get your stuff together. Make sure people are leaving that meeting with actionable tips, things they can apply immediately. So that's one experience that, we smiled, but I felt how it really did hit me. Have you had anything close or maybe even worse than that?
Yes, I have. just going back to, what you've said, my experience has also been in a space whereby during, a presentation and you are engaging and you're moving from one side to the other. And because you're not focused on delivering the message that you want to deliver, you're just rambling and there is no real key message that you want to deliver there.
Mm.
So in my personal experience has been, in the same sort of environment, I was delivering uh, a speech on, people motivating people. And I felt like when you are delivering a speech, there have to be a beginning, a
Mhm.
middle, and the ending. For me, I felt like there was a beginning, there was no middle, and there was just an ending
Okay.
to my delivery. And that all comes with, lack of preparation. As
I was going to ask you, why do you think that happened? Yes, go
Yeah,
ahead, please.
yeah, that always come with lack of preparation because you feel like, okay, yes, you know the topic so well and you can deliver it, without, proper preparation. And that is when we have a blunder. Like we are saying, public speaking is an art and a science. The
Mm.
more you practice, the more effort that you put in, the more excellent and more profound your delivery of your speech is going to be, and most importantly, the more impactful it's going to be. So to
Mm.
answer your question, that has been an experience that I have had specifically when I was presenting to a group of people, and I felt like at the end of that presentation, it wasn't good. It wasn't good enough in the way I delivered my message on specifically on that particular topic.
Yes. It reminds me of what John Maxwell said. He
Mm,
said, never wing it. Don't wing it. Some people would say, oh, it's a subject I know already. I can
yes.
go, I wing it. We'll just talk and then, 5 minutes gone, 7 minutes, 10 minutes gone. It's a subject I know. No, he said, don't ever do that. Him as one of, I would call him a master communicator or even a number one leadership expert in the world today,
Yes.
written over 100 books. I mean, but he says he still prepares for his engagement. So preparation is key for people
Absolutely.
who are out there, for folks, podcast family listening out there watching. The key to breaking down some of these barriers is preparation. Some
Uh,
people would prepare longer than others, depending on your level of experience and all of that. But preparation is very important in this because I know that in my case, I would not, because it was an impromptu speech.
yes.
But the lesson I learned from that is take it seriously.
Yes.
Take it the moment you're called upon, take it seriously. That's what I learned.
Yeah.
Even if it's an impromptu speech, because it's a moment of growth. Don't
Absolutely.
take it for granted. And
Yeah.
people are giving you, if you have 50 people in the room and they're giving you 2 minutes each, that is 100 minutes given to you
Mm-hmm.
to touch people's lives. As
Yeah.
if you, that is just putting it in a matter of words. But I'm
Yes.
going to ask you this, Peter. Your work,
Yes.
how has communication helped you at your place of work? The projects you handle, the things you do, talking with your teams, collaborating with your teams. How has communication, your ability to communicate, has it helped you in any way? How?
Well, he has helped me in a very, very, very massive and profound way, in the sense that when you are able to not just communicate, also to be able to listen and understand within your team or your organization or your manager. So in terms of my communication has helped me in terms of being able to put my message across precisely and very clearly
Hmm.
so that my subordinates and the people within my team can understand where I'm coming from. For example, when I have a presentation that I want to deliver to a group of, directors within my team, without having an effective communication skills, I won't be able to deliver my presentation for the board of directors to be able to understand the clarity of the project, how we are going to be, how is it going to be executed, and what the outcome is going to be.
True.
This all comes with, communication skills. Those all comes with being able to practice, being able to take it seriously and engage. So communication has helped me in every stage in my life, in terms of my organization, being able to put a group of people together and be able to motivate them and share my message. Also, being able to have a one-on-one coaching with the people that I coach, being able to put an action plan in place and say, okay, yes, this is what we're going to do. We'll identify what you need. This is the action that you need to take. You need to take, and
Okay.
this is the outcome that is going to happen. So all of these things comes with communication, and that is the reason why, obviously, I'm here. I'm speaking to you, and being able to encourage people to take public speaking and communication as a tool that is very important in every area of life, on your personal life, on your professional life. Communication is very, very important.
Absolutely. Makes sense. Makes sense completely. And the reason what prompted me to ask you this question is that when we talk about public speaking, people always think about the guys that are on the stage, like the
Yes.
Tony Robbins of this world, the Les Browns of this world, or the Michael Maxwells of this world. But they forget that communication is not just about on the stage. It happens in the family, at work. What for me, it's more about connecting. When you communicate, ask yourself, are you connecting? Every one of us does have some form of walls around us.
Yes.
We just put up walls here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone is able to break through, get through to us, it's easier to then say, okay, let me hear you. Let me hear what you want to say. When we're at work, the question is, am I connecting? Because sometimes you see people just say no for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
The reason is simple. They're not connected. They don't see how it benefits them. They don't see how you care about them. Because people are
Yeah.
always asking the question, do you see me?
Yeah.
Do I matter to you? Do
Mm-hmm.
you care about me?
Mm-hmm.
If the answer to any of those three questions is no, they're not listening to you. They might be there, but they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
So the thing about speaking in public also goes into the workplace, how we communicate, how we connect, how we value people, like the lessons you've shared
Yes.
about passing the message because the message is meant for someone you may not know the person. And that's
Absolutely.
how when we communicate at places of work, what we see would get across to people, but will it hit them nicely or will it hurt them?
Mm-hmm.
But that brings me to what the next question, which is your work, you have the MFM movement, the moving
Yes.
forward movement,
Move forward movement. Yeah.
which I'm so super excited about because of the big subject of mental health and how you've delved deep straight to with that joy and that connection in the
Yeah.
community that you live. In fact, you've proven to be an example of think what you can do for your community and not what your community
Community
can
can
do
do
for
for you.
you. You've
Absolutely.
proven to be that.
Yes.
How do you match all of these things together? Work, your community project, family, you've got three amazing kids, family. How do you, and then I see those who have not seen you, when they see you, anytime they see you're well built. I mean, your health, your physique, how do you manage all of that, as a
Thank you
person?
for asking. I think the key word here is from the is personal development
Hmm.
and discipline.
Okay.
You know, when you are embarking on any journey in your life that you want to transform your life,
Mm-hmm.
that is personal development and then discipline, having
Okay.
a structure for your life. So the way I manage all of these things as a father, a business person, having an organization and working is being able to prioritize.
Okay.
You said one word earlier on, um, when you're giving, when you want to serve, is a service. Giving start with receiving. And when I identified that, to answer your, when I identify that, I begin to understand that, okay, yes, I need to serve my community. I need to give back to my community. And the way I do it, the way I manage all of these together is, number one, my family first, to make sure that my family are looked after, they're fed, by taking my job, more
Seriously.
important. Number two, you know, how can I give back to my community? How do I give? What do I give back? By creating the time to create content, to bring people together. All of those things comes with discipline and planning. Being
True.
able to prioritize the things that matters to me, on how I can add value to my community, to myself, and to my organization, Move Forward Movement, because mental health is becoming an epidemic
Absolutely.
in the society that we are living together just now.
Absolutely.
So I
Absolutely.
manage all of that by discipline my time management, giving back to my community, focusing on my job, and my family. So that is how I basically kind of like prioritizing, being able to manage my time effectively. That is how I put all of that together. Sometimes it
Good
can be
stuff.
difficult. You will start one thing in the morning. Like for me, my discipline, I wake up every day at 20 minutes past 5 in the morning.
Mm.
Some people are still sleeping at that time. Some people are still pressing the alarm time. So which gives me at least 3 or 4 hours ahead of every other person's time. Because if you continue to keep that pattern in your life, you wake up early and go to bed early, then you have more time to be able to manage a lot of things in your life that are important to you, and still be able to have time with your family. So
Yes.
time management is very important, and discipline.
Good. It's also encouraging to see what you're doing, because you see people that are in the minority come
Yes.
into a community and say, well, I'm in the minority and there's nothing I can do about it. I, as against the delving, they create something and the community supports them. They take the lead. I mean, anybody that's watching this that is probably from Nigeria, from the African clan, will be proud that, okay, we've got someone there that's doing this. And it's an example. Wherever you find yourself in the world, whether you're a minority or not, color or not, black, white, whatever it is, wherever, as a human being, the question is, what can I do to change people's lives for the better? Okay. But in the process of doing all of these things, Peter, let me ask you,
Yes.
has anything happened that has actually surprised you? You've discovered something about yourself, because this has been a journey. Sometimes we do these things because we're excited. It's like the saying goes, when you love what you do, you won't work for a day.
Yes.
So when you love what you do, you keep going. But has anything happened that has shocked you, surprised, like, man, Peter, I didn't know you could do this?
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes, um, you kind of think back when you have started something so small,
Mm,
and you think back, and you now begin to see that people are looking up to you. People are wanting to listen to what you want to say.
yeah.
And then you begin to think, wow, is this just me? I am imparting people. The other day, I got an email, a comment from my YouTube channel, a lady
Okay.
in Spain, saying to me that every time I share my video on YouTube, that she and her family always sit down and listen to what I have to say.
Are you serious?
Yes, you
It's
know,
beautiful.
it's amazing. So that also goes back to what we were talking about earlier on, sharing your message. So when I see things like that, I organize people, the ethnic minority people in Scotland, specifically South Lanarkshire, bringing people together. People sending me a message, okay, when are we going to play this football to improve their mental well-being? Before we start with the football, I give a speech to develop that mindset of growth. You begin to see things like that people are beginning to look up to you, because you did not say you want to be a leader, then
Mm.
you're not beginning to uh, see those leadership qualities within you based on what people are beginning to see. So those are moments that kind of surprises me as a person. Organization now sending you a message for you to be a host of an award show, and they're seeing the work that you are doing in the
Mm.
community. So those are the things that begin to surprise me as a person. And when you look at it, it always goes back to the willingness to serve.
Yeah.
The willingness to give back to the community, the willingness to understand this keyword, understanding that giving starts with receiving. I did
Okay.
not know all of these before. The moment I start understanding that when you start beginning to, be a service to others and begin to give to other people, that is when things begin to change. And those are the things that begin to surprise me as a person, you know, empowering my community with Move Forward movement on the mental well-being platform, people reaching out for me on the positive message that I'm sharing, that they look forward to hearing my message, organization reaching out to me to wanting to add value to their organization. And you think, wow, all of this is surprising, but this is still a journey for me,
Yeah.
a journey of growth and the personal development side of things, which I'm very, very happy about. And a lot of surprise still in the pipeline for growth, which I believe in.
True. I've got two questions for you before we go. You've
Yes.
used this statement twice or so, that
Yes.
giving starts with receiving. What do you mean
Yes.
by that?
Oh yes, giving. I mean, in the sense that when you're giving, for example, you're giving this conversation that we're having. We're
Yes.
sharing this conversation, whatever platform is going to end up in.
Yeah.
Who knows who is going to help?
Okay.
When you give somebody something, or even a token, a hug, a smile, what do you think you're going to get back? If
All
you were
right.
to if you were to be driving your car right now, of a sudden, and you saw somebody on the street and you decided to wave and say hello to them and smile to them, what would you get back?
All right.
They will smile back at you.
So it's more about all of us should take the initiative to give,
Yes,
look for opportunities to give, right?
absolutely.
Because when we give, it is certain that we're going to get tenfold back.
Absolutely. That's just the way it works.
Yes.
And,
Practice
and,
give.
and being on this journey as a speaker, as a coach, as a mentor, is to look for places that I can go to and give my service for free, just
Mm.
the way it is now. Being in a school, being in a Rotary, being in a local club, being anywhere,
Yes.
give
To
my
serve.
message, and then who knows what happened after that.
Mm.
That is how it all starts. And that is the reason why I'm so grateful that we're having this conversation. So that
Beautiful.
whoever, can hear this message, wherever you might be in the world, being an ethnic minority, whatever you are, think about how can I be of value to my
Mm.
community? How can I give back to my community? Building your own community, and then you begin to see things happening that can transform people's life, that will be able to transform your life as you go
Yes.
through that journey of growth.
Okay, good. I'll let you go with this last one. If you were,
Yes.
after this conversation, if you were to have lunch with three icons, leaders, entrepreneurs, public speakers, coaches, mentors that you think have, in one way or the other, influenced you, who would you like to sit with?
Oh, I would like to see with Barack Obama. Uh, I would like to see with Barack Obama is on one of my bucket lists. Somebody that I would like to meet, and I believe I'm going to
Okay.
meet him one day.
Okay.
Just simply because his mannerisms, his intellectual, the history that is created in of people of color, and the way he encouraged people, the outlooks, just being able to sit down with him, not even without dinner, just to acquire some of his knowledge. I believe that would be absolutely amazing.
Okay. I think I can fix that. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Just
That would
kidding.
be, if you can
So,
fix that, that would be amazing. I will like, oh, Stallone. This
Yeah.
alone has changed a lot of things in my life.
So tell me the other two people.
Oh, Tony Robinson. Tony Robinson is
Tony
another
Robbins,
person
okay?
that, that I would like to have a sit down with, just because, he has started this journey of public speaking. People that is one of the people that I look forward to,
Okay.
how your message can impact people massively. His dedication to humanity, his dedication to, for people to wanting to learn, for people who want to grow. Somebody that I would like to have a sit down and have a dinner with. And then the last one will be Myron Gordon.
Okay.
Myron Gordon is also someone of ethnic minorities, someone that kind of, motivates with the inspiration of the understanding of the word of God, the Bible, how you can be an effective leader, being able
Okay.
to know who you are
Yes.
as a person so that you can be able to, inspire others while you're going through the journey. So those are the three people: Barack Obama, Tony Robinson, and Myron Gordon. Those are people that I'd like to sit down and have dinner with if I will. Hopefully I'll get to meet them one day.
All right, Piro. Ladies and gentlemen, podcast family, that is it. I mean, you heard from the man, the community leader, moving from that city under the bridge to making so much impact here in the UK. Thank you so much, Peter, for sharing your wisdom, giving us your time, sharing your stories with us. Who knows who it's going to inspire? That's the essence of the show, to get people to understand you do not have to be an influential, you don't have to be a fluent English speaker or any language. You don't have to be a super extrovert. No, you just need to have the basic drive to say, I want to communicate better. I want to connect better. I want to be able to influence better. And that all starts from communicating and understanding this art, this and the science behind it. And look for coaches, look for mentors, look for communities like Toastmasters that would
Yes.
encourage you, that'll build you, that'll help you. Ask for feedback, get evaluation, and apply the feedback, apply the evaluation, and you will be unstoppable. I want to wrap up with this. The process of becoming a better communicator, a better connector, or a better public speaker is not always smooth. But the process is where the growth happens. This is where you are, this is where you want to be. In
Yes.
between is where growth happens. So you will make mistakes. You will sometimes feel embarrassed, but pick the mistakes, find out where you went wrong, what you could do differently, and just never stop. Like Piro will say, move forward movement. Is it
Movement.
moving forward movement?
Move forward
Moving
movement.
forward, moving
Yes.
forward, not in the
Yes, absolutely. Move forward
Thank you
movement.
very
So
much, my brother.
absolutely, just to add to that, what you just said, having the passion and the consistency to in whatever thing that you want to do, in public speaking, having the passion and the consistency, it matters a lot. With us on Move Forward Movement, you can find us on a lot of social media platform, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on Instagram. We are there, Move Forward Movement. So I'm very grateful for you to have me here today. It's an honor, and I'm open to coming to your show anytime. You want to have me so that we can talk so much more
That's
on
okay.
how your platform is impacting people's life.
Yes. Thank you. So just so that people know, those who might be interested in finding out what you're doing, probably support the movement or maybe be part of the movement. You say it's Moving Forward Movement on
There's Move
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
and LinkedIn. So it's
Okay, on LinkedIn.
Move Forward Movements.
Move Forward Movement.
Yes,
Move
Move
Forward
Forward
Movement.
Movement. So
Okay,
you can
great
find
stuff.
us on LinkedIn on Move Forward Movements. You can find us on Instagram, Move Forward _ Movements. You can find us on Twitter, Move Forward Movements, and you can find us on Facebook as well.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much. And until we come your way again, listeners, people, all of you podcast family, we're all there watching. This is our show for today. Bye for now.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. It's been an